Hi guys, let's get Elvis in, shall we? Got to have Elvis in the picture. Right, I hope you're well. Okay. So, I've managed to get away and do a quick live. It's quite late here in the UK. It's 9:09 p.m. We're defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. My name's Louis. I'm 57. We've got a lovely little community here of members and subscribers, and every day we come together 2-3 times a day and we defend Elvis Presley and his bloodline. I have noticed that recently, from all the comments I'm receiving on these YouTubes, videos that we're making, the live streams that we're making, hi Jane, that I keep having to remind people that we do defend the whole bloodline. So I'm going to give people a chance to latch on. Jane, how are you going? Okay. I'm going to just play. I think I'm going to try and find an old something to play. Let's see if I can get it up before we get on to the topic. We haven't got any specific topic. There's so many different things I could do. I want to keep it quite laid back. So I'm just going to give people a chance to join us. Jane, you are the first one. Welcome, Jane. I wonder how many are going to join us tonight. What can I do? I can tell you what I could do. I'll read. Maybe I could just read the most recent messages. So we have, he was wonderful. She was not. She knew he was an icon when she married him. Let's have a look. Let's just read some comments that you guys have given me. Actually, no, I wanted to find that video first. Let's find the video. Let's have a look. So what I tend to do is I've got a specific thing where I store all of the links that I like. Let's look at this one.
She basically threw me out in the middle of the night. You know, one night I get out. She drove me to the church one night and sort of dumped me off to them. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning and I was in hysterics.
Let's play again. Okay, that's not going to play again. Right, okay, let's go to the next one. Now this one, I thought was brilliant. Let me just pause it. Now there's a bit of music in this one, but I liked it because it might not copyright me on YouTube. Let's see if it. Right, let's get this right. This is Elvis. Hi, Michael. Hi, Jane. This is Elvis at a rehearsal. I found it on Instagram. There was something about it that I just thought was really cool. But
I had to make one sometime. Oh, that's okay. Everybody's entitled to one stupid mistake. Oh, yes.
I like that. So do that again.
I had to make one sometime. Oh, that's okay. Everybody's entitled to one stupid mistake. Oh, yes. Can we do another take? Yes. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
I had to make one sometime. Oh, that's okay. Everybody's entitled to one stupid mistake. Oh, yes.
I love it. Brilliant. Someone sent me that. I'm not even sure. One of you guys sent me that. Right, I've got another video to play, but I wanted to do, let me just find it. Again, I'm going to play a couple of videos and we're going to comment on them. Let's have a look. I do store these videos up. Do I ever find them? I always lose them, mine. Right. Okay, let's have a look. I think this is it. Let me just check.
Riley Keough made an emotional return to Graceland alongside her grandmother, Priscilla Presley, to promote her mother, Lisa Marie Presley's posthumous memoir, From Here to Great Unknown. Over the weekend, Keough...
Pause. Let's try and get it to its wide view. Right. We have... Right, okay. Just a sort of updated version of what we've all been going through the last 4 or 5 days.
Riley Keough made an emotional return to Graceland alongside her grandmother, Priscilla Presley, to promote her mother, Lisa Marie Presley's posthumous memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown. Over the weekend, Keough participated in a special event at Graceland, the legendary estate once home to Elvis Presley, where she sat down with Nicole Richie for an intimate interview at the soundstage. Riley's appearance was particularly poignant, as she was joined by Priscilla Presley, the ex-wife of Elvis and mother to Lisa Marie, their only child. Priscilla took the stage to share personal stories and insights, helping provide deeper context for the memoir by reflecting on her life with the King of Rock and Roll. Lisa Marie's memoir touches on several profound and deeply personal aspects of her life, including her enduring love for her father, the immense grief she faced following his death, and the many challenges she encountered in her romantic relationships and as a mother. The book also addresses the heartbreaking loss of her son, Benjamin Keough, in 2020, and the joy she found in the birth of her granddaughter, Tupelo, Riley's 2-year-old daughter. Before the event, Keough and her grandmother were spotted around the Graceland property, evoking memories of Lisa Marie's fondness for the estate. In one particularly touching moment, the pair was photographed sitting together on a golf cart, an activity significant to Lisa Marie, who was known for playfully crashing the carts during her visits. Keough exuded effortless elegance as she took the stage, wearing a chic white dress that fell just below her knees. The look was completed with a striking necklace that accentuated her neckline. Her long, dark hair was swept back with a headband, cascading past her shoulders in soft waves. Priscilla, at 79, looked equally stylish, wearing dark slacks paired with a brown suede and black leather jacket, along with black boots. Her signature red hair was worn long and straight, parted down the center, lending a timeless elegance to her look. Though the event was a heartwarming moment for the family, it comes just a year after a tense legal dispute over Lisa Marie's estate. In the wake of Lisa Marie's sudden passing in January 2023, Priscilla challenged a 2016 amendment to her daughters that replaced her and business manager Barry Siegel as co-trustees, naming Riley and her late brother Benjamin as the new trustees. Keough later opened up about the emotional toll of this period, explaining how the family had to navigate both their grief and the complexities of managing the Presley estate. It was a chaotic time, Keough admitted, but she emphasized that her relationship with her grandmother is back to normal. We're a family, but there's also a huge business side to our family. We needed clarity on both fronts. In the end, Keough was named the sole trustee of Lisa Marie's estate, which includes managing the subtrust for her 14-year-old twin half-sisters, Harper and Finley Lockwood. Priscilla, meanwhile, will serve as trustee for the subtrust of her son, Navarone Garibaldi. As part of their agreement, Riley will pay her grandmother a $1 million lump sum, along with $400,000 for legal fees. Following the Graceland event, Riley will continue her mother's memoir tour with a stop in St. Louis, where she will be joined by Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan. From there, she will head to Nashville on October 14th, followed by a stop in London at the Bloomsbury Theatre on October 15th. After a brief break, she will return to Los Angeles to participate in a conversation at Live Talks LA with author Taylor Jenkins Reid. Keough's work on completing her mother's memoir has been an emotional journey. Using hours of audio recordings Lisa Marie made before her passing, Riley was able to bring her mother's words to life. For the audiobook version, Keough collaborated with actress Julia Roberts, adding another layer of depth to the narrative. Elvis Presley, one of the most iconic figures in music history, passed away in August 1977 at the age of 42, leaving behind a legacy that continues to resonate across generations. His
Hi,
daughter,
Tanya.
Lisa Marie, who
Hi,
carried the weight of
Linda.
that
Hi,
legacy,
Mary.
passed away in January 2023
Hi,
at 54,
Jane.
leaving her own
Michelle.
indelible mark on the Presley family story.
Yeah, so it's funny, we get these sort of new, sort of updated versions of what happened. Now, you know, I agree to differ on the way that that is narrated. It's always a bit different, isn't it? It's always a bit different. Now, what I wanted to do is two things I want to do. I wanted to re-look at this interview. Let me just show it. Now, one of the things we talk about is Priscilla boasting that she saved Graceland, that she is the reason Graceland became a museum, a living museum. Now, we disagree. We think that there's no way that Graceland was ever going to be sold. And we think that the living museum idea had already been thought of years before. It included Colonel Tom Parker and Vernon. And there was a guy called Morgan Maxfield, whose assistant was Jack Sodden, who is now very well known. Reportedly that Priscilla was married to Morgan Maxfield, and this happened around 1980, but he died in a plane crash, and they say that he even had all the plans all together, what the intention was for Graceland. So what I thought we could do is re-look at that conversation, this interview with Jack Sodden. I don't know if many of you have heard of Jack Sodden, but she always says, Priscilla always says, he's the reason Graceland was saved. She chose him. Now, he was Jack Sodden was Morgan Maxfield's assistant. So after this unexpected plane crash of so-called Priscilla Presley's fiance that had died in the plane crash, but they had split up before the plane crash. Jack Sodden was the quiet guy in the office that had helped Morgan Maxfield draw up these plans to save Graceland, to open it as a living museum with the council, with Memphis City. So I thought what we could do, we could listen to this interview and just, we are going to be critical with this interview, and just between us, Jack Sodden and Priscilla, we're going to decide just if this is true or not. I want to rewind that a little bit, so I want to make sure you can read. We can read the bit. Let's see if we can read the beginning. Yeah.
We had attorneys and bankers, and we had a meeting. I was one of the executors to the estate. And one of the attorneys said, after the few of these meetings, said, well, you know, we're going to have to sell Graceland. And I looked at him, and I never felt so, how can I say, strong on my conviction, is that that will never happen. I looked at him straight in the eye. Never happen. So he goes, we're running out of money. And I said, we're not selling Graceland. So that's when I went out to start searching for someone to help me.
So let me just pause that. I just want to say, you know, I'm no expert. I can only go on by all the research that we've all done together, anything that's been sent to me by people. And I have never seen any categoric proof that Graceland was in danger of being sold. Never. Nothing has proved that to me, ever. I've had, like, you know, there was financial details that needed to be dealt with. There were many banks involved, as far as I know. There were some big decisions to be made. Now, I've always been saying this for the last few weeks. If you go by the second divorce settlement, which was very, very brutal, a divorce settlement that Priscilla wasn't even entitled to, that she'd had to go back to the judges and accuse Elvis of fraud, of lying about his assets and his income, and before a judge would allow her to go for another divorce settlement, because in the first divorce settlement she signed contracts saying that she would not try and get more money, try for a second settlement. So she broke a massive promise to Elvis, to Vernon, that was done with solicitors, with lawyers, to open up the divorce and go for a second settlement, which was brutal. Elvis could not afford it. Elvis, the amount of money that she was asking was like, oh my God, yeah. Vernon and Elvis were pulling their hair out, like, where are we going to get this money? They didn't have the money she was demanding. It was millions, a massive spousal payment, a monthly spousal payment as well. And she wanted a percentage of his royalties. And it is said, I can't prove it, that the reason that Elvis sold his pre-1973 recording rights was to pay Priscilla, And in the end, they created this deed of trust, and they placed this charge, this lien on Graceland's, which is basically a debt on Graceland's, promising that Elvis would pay the amount owed in the divorce settlement that Elvis agreed to, that he couldn't afford to, but he agreed to these installments, and this is why the charge, the lien, was placed on Graceland. And I say now that the reason, if Elvis had financial problems after he died, after Vernon died as well, but let's say after Elvis died, it was because of Priscilla had literally robbed him, in my opinion, on that second divorce settlement. She broke him. So they bring up the fact that there were serious hemorrhaging of money, but the money was going to Priscilla. People forget this. The money was going to Priscilla in installments, massive installments. This is why the money had run out. Yeah, people don't see that. She says, oh, I saved Graceland, I opened it as a museum. No, you put Graceland in debt by demanding this massive amount of money on the second divorce settlement, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes. And the same, if we jump forward to the way that she speaks about poor Lisa Marie, Lisa Marie took drugs, she was a drunk, she chased after men, she was a reckless, rebellious child. Well, yeah, but what caused that? What caused her to be that way, to be damaged, to have such a difficult time from a very young age? To me, it's Lisa's own words from the book. The misconduct, the abuse, alleged abuse from Michael Edwards and from her own mother, Priscilla. Yeah, this is what caused poor Lisa Marie to be damaged, in my opinion. To me, there's similarities. Priscilla is trying to say, oh, there were serious money problems at Graceland, I had to save it. Yeah, but she caused the money problems. Then it's like, oh, my daughter, I couldn't cope with her. I was a victim. She was into drugs and drinking and chasing men. Yeah. Well, yeah, because Priscilla's boyfriend allegedly was abusing her. You get it, guys? You see the sort of mirror thing here. Ultimately, the blame falls with Priscilla, in my opinion, for the abuse alleged, and for Graceland's having very serious financial problems because of the second divorce settlement, that Elvis just agreed to everything because he was scared that she was not going to let him see Lisa Marie. Elvis agreed to everything. He was thinking, oh my God, she's got the power to stop me seeing my daughter, the most important thing in my life. This is how Elvis is thinking. Give her what she wants. Give her what she wants. Get it, guys? We have to learn to think outside the box. We have to learn to think outside the box. And let's keep listening to this. Now, remember, with this sort of solemn face of, oh my God, everything is because of me. I saved the world. All the good that ever came to Graceland and Elvis's legacy is because of me. Do any of you actually fall for it? Let's press play.
Partner with me. Anything to
Let me just go back a second.
and I looked at him and I never.
I'm going to go right from the beginning again. And
We
then
had attorneys and bankers, and we had a meeting. I was one of the executors to the estate. And one of the attorneys said, after the few of these meetings, said, well, you know, we're going to have to sell Graceland. And I looked at him, and I never felt so, how can I say, strong on my conviction is that that will never happen. I looked at him straight in the eye. Never happen. So he goes, we're running out of money. And I said,
yes, because she took it all.
we're not selling Graceland. So that's when I went out to start searching for someone to help me, guide me, assist me, partner with me, anything to
Right, let me just jump in here.
help.
Let me jump in here, guys. See, this is a reinvent, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes, this is reinventing history, just like this book, a reinvention of history, rewritten from Priscilla's point of view by Priscilla 7 years after Elvis died. This ain't fact, this ain't real, this is just a story, a fairy tale, a reinventing of facts, yeah? She's doing it now. She's doing it now as we unfold this chat. She did it in Graceland's at Riley Keough's book signing. Riley Keough's book signing, where, in my opinion, Priscilla stormed in, took over, stole the show, made the whole show about her and Lisa. Yeah, when we know that the reason for the book signing at Graceland's was to promote for Riley Keough, the daughter of Lisa Marie, to promote this book, From Here to the Great Unknown. If you, as I've said before, if you look at the London show, it was a beautiful, nearly an hour long of questioning and chatting with Riley Keough. It was beautiful how she spoke about her mother, Benjamin. It was about Elvis. It was just a lovely, nearly an hour long at London, because Priscilla hadn't crashed it. Yeah. Whereas you look at the Memphis book signing event, as soon as Priscilla walks in, the whole show is different. It's just about Priscilla, center of attention, me. Oh, look what I went through. Poor me, I'm a victim. Lisa Marie was so difficult, and she took drugs, and she liked chasing boys, and she had a drinking problem as well. She was so difficult to deal with, but we got through it. That is the difference between the Memphis show, the book signing, and, for example, the London show. Yeah. Priscilla stole the show, and she shouldn't have done. She's out of order, and she took away Riley's opportunity at Graceland, at Memphis, at the book signing event, to discuss the memoir, Lisa Marie's memoir. Now, the reinvention here is this. She says, oh, I had to search out Jack Sodden. No, because Morgan Maxfield, look him up, guys, write his name down. Morgan Maxfield, who she was once engaged to, yeah, look it up. There's even newspaper clips that prove it, had already been creating this new business of Graceland's becoming a living museum, all of the land in front of Graceland's becoming part of this massive idea for the living museum. Memphis City were eager to save Graceland's, to turn it into a living shrine museum of Elvis, because they knew, Memphis knew that it was going to be a massive success, a massive success. They had proved it just from the amount of people visiting the gravesite. Yeah. So no, she didn't have to search out Morgan Maxfield, who already had drawn up all the paperwork, and they say that the paperwork went down with him on the plane crash where Morgan Maxfield died unexpectedly. Jack Sodden was his assistant. She didn't have to search anyone out. She just carried on from where everyone else left off. Morgan Maxfield had been creating this deal with Memphis, and Jack Sodden was the assistant working on the deal. She didn't sort out anyone. She just went to the next person that was still alive, that had been drawing up this paperwork, these plans with Memphis Council, Memphis City. So no, there wasn't this magic wand waved by Priscilla to save the day, guys. So let's keep going.
I said, Jack, what if you help me? What if you partner with me on opening Graceland? And Jack just, looked at me and goes, well, sure. I mean, absolutely. And agreed to get started, rolled the sleeves up, and had many, many meetings. And here we are today. And he's still here with us today. And he was the right person. So I feel blessed in that.
I remember might have been one of the very first, but in a meeting in the big conference room at the Glanford firm, and everybody was there. Yeah, I think you were there, Joe was there, Jim from the bank,
Those
and
are
then
the other two executives.
The other two executives. But Frank Lankford, that was such a character, and Matt Webner, remember, he was a rights lawyer. In other words, there were like a room full of like 20 lawyers and accountants and everything else, with the clock burning, and basically Priscilla was you were just this single voice going, no. They were all, their aggregate opinion was the smart fiduciary thing to do is sell everything, invest the money, and etc. And Priscilla was just going, no, we're not doing that. And
we're not selling Graceland.
Yeah, and it was, and it laid the groundwork. Frankly, think what a disaster in retrospect. In retrospect, it would have been so sad.
Yeah, it would never meant to be. And I kept thinking in myself, my God, what would Elvis do if he knew that Graceland was going to be sold, or wouldn't be passed on to his daughter? It was like all that was going in my mind, and I think that was what I really looked at them as
bullshit.
Lawyers and accountants, and they're thinking money, of course, and I understand that, but I'm thinking entirely different. This was a home, a beautiful home, and it was never going to happen. It was never going to be sold, ever, ever.
I can remember a consultant from Washington or something, a museum consultant that came in and was looking around and going, oh yeah, they're going to peel wallpaper off, and they're going to take this, they're going to take this, and
does anyone believe this?
Put up plexiglass here and plexiglass there. And I remember by the time he was
I have to comment.
This thing.
Now remember, both these people, Jack Sodden, who's still very important at Gracelands now, and Priscilla, not so important, made a fortune for decades from Gracelands. Then she's there, oh, I'm never going to sell it. Yeah, you did. You sold 85%. Priscilla sold 85% of Elvis Presley Enterprises, and she leased Graceland's, the Living Museum, to a massive company. Bob Silliman, around, I'm not sure the actual year, I think it was 2005, bought a 99-year lease of Graceland and bought 85% of Elvis Presley Enterprises. And we know that 15% was retained by Priscilla and Lisa Marie. And also we know that the building, the Graceland building, is still owned by now Riley Keough, then Lisa Marie, and obviously Priscilla was the trustee, the head trustee. So when she says, oh, I would never sell it, I would never sell it, oh no, 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 it was Lisa's home, yeah? She sold it. She sold a 99-year lease of Graceland and 85% of Elvis Presley Enterprises. Does anyone here for a second think that Elvis Presley Enterprises should have been sold? For a second. Does anyone think, oh yes, it was for the greater good, it was because they had more ambitious expansion plans? This is the excuse that was given. She even sold the name Presley. The name Presley, which wasn't even hers, because she had given it up on the first divorce settlement by 1973. Part of the verbal agreement was she would not use the name Presley again. She would go back to using Bulow. They used the excuse that it was for security reasons. Yeah. She sold that as part of the deal, I think in 2005, to Bob Silliman. Look him up, the billionaire who went bankrupt in the end. She received $6 million for the name Presley. Now, this is my opinion for entertainment purposes. Also, when they did the deal, a large amount of money changed hands between these people, Jack Sodden, Priscilla Presley. There was a yearly salary agreed. Yeah? Was it 900,000? $500,000? Yeah? Eventually, later down the road, when we've got Barry Siegel, who's the manager on behalf of Lisa Marie, then more wrongdoing happening. I think this is when these salaries were agreed, the $900,000 a year for Priscilla, the $500,000 a year for Barry Siegel. And obviously Joel Weishanker, he steps in and buys Elvis Presley Enterprises 85% because Bob Silliman went bust. We know that Barry Siegel wasted a fortune of Lisa Marie's inheritance, her trust money, on investing in American Idol. So this whole thing of, oh, I would never sell gravestones, I would never do that, we have to save the home for poor Lisa Marie, you know, it's bullshit. It all got squandered. It all got squandered. Even as we speak, Graceland, the business, is rented to Elvis Presley Enterprises. The business, not the building. The building is owned by Riley Keough and will be eventually Finley and Harper's as well. So let's not fall for it, guys.
The warmth of a hospital. and it was, and we ultimately, we talked about it a lot, and you decided to bank on the reverence.
Yeah.
And it was, what a winning bet. 22 million visitors later, and that thing is still so, they've just treated it with reverence.
Yeah, they did. They have, and still do. And I think, you know, they, like we said, they feel it too. But I could not see the plexiglass. I could not see anything changed, and it wouldn't be his home. It would be just be like a museum.
I remember now why I butted in. They're talking about the fact that it was going to be sold and they were going to start stripping the wallpaper off the walls, and I think she just called that plexiglass, as if Memphis City were going to allow people to march in and take Graceland to little pieces and sell it off. It's just bullshit. When they say, oh my God, Elvis Presley would have been forgotten within 2 years if this had happened. Does anyone fall for this? It's so ridiculous.
Somebody else's house, it could never be. I think the spirit of Elvis was there. I think people feel that spirit, and that's why they respect it.
I can remember we decided to go really fast because it was the last of what they used to call World's Fairs in Knoxville. And we thought, all right, there are people going to be coming to Tennessee. Let's try to get Graceland open. And of course, we were on a shoestring anyway. There was a limited.
We were running out of money.
Yeah. No, there's an article. Judge Evans, the probate judge, even did an interview and expressed his concern back to that huge conference room filled with attorneys and accountants and everything else, that they were just going to burn up what liquid assets there were. So
I don't believe any of it.
It wasn't a total shoestring catch, but basically opening Graceland, and it was. But Angie and I were talking about this earlier. It was so profitable right from the beginning because the overhead couldn't really catch up with the revenue. You know, when we opened, the ticket was $5. The tour Graceland was $5.
Wow, my gosh. Jeez.
And we've still got the original flyer with adults $5, children $3.
And we didn't know at all, you know, if we would even have any guests. We had no idea. We were really concerned.
Did you hear what she just said? Right, listen to this, guys. She's now, Priscilla is going to go on to say, oh, we didn't know if anyone was even going to show up. We didn't know if there would be any guests. We didn't know if it would make any money. It was such a big gamble. Such a load of crap. It's like, come on. Elvis Presley, just the graveside, they were all walking up to see Elvis and Gladys's grave. Yeah, they were queuing to go and see the graves. They knew it was going to be a massive success. And I think I read it somewhere that they bought 14 buses to do the tour. 14 buses, guys, to do this tour. Now, I could be wrong. Tell me if I am. Now, you don't buy 14 tour buses to do this tour if you think, oh my God, we thought it was going to fail. It was definitely it could have gone wrong. We really didn't think it would work. Elvis Presley. And they're saying that they thought the tour might not work. Does anyone actually believe it, guys? Keep listening.
My gosh.
And we've still got the original flyer with adults $5.
Right, listen to the lies, guys.
And we didn't know at all, you know, if we would even have any guests. We had no idea. We were really concerned about if anyone would show up. And boy, to our surprise.
Yeah, remember we used to say it was like sending an invitation to the world with no RSVP.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking and a bit frightening. And
right, one more second, guys. Right, one more thing. She says, oh, it was nerve-wracking and frightening. We've all seen the footage of Priscilla proudly boasting that now Graceland has been saved and it'll be a living museum. But guys, how many of you know this? Priscilla didn't turn up at the opening of Graceland, the museum. On the opening day of Graceland, the living museum, Priscilla was not there. She was not there. It is rumored she was in LA with a boyfriend. She wasn't even at the opening. The opening day. Who does that? Who boasts about creating a business and then on the opening day is not even there? Come on, guys. Crazy.
People were coming in the droves and loved it, and here we are today. You know, it was hard for me. It was really hard for me, too, to open those doors, and hard for people, you know, thinking that people were going to come through. It was so private for so long, and now people were going to be coming in and looking at our life, the way we lived. Everything was still perfect the way Elvis left it, and it was hard. It was hard to actually have to come to terms, although I knew we had to do it, and I had to give that up, and I had to look at the good of it, the fact that we've saved Graceland, we have tourists coming in, we have people coming in, and it's for a good cause. And it was all about saving Graceland and keeping it home, keeping it with Elvis, the family. And that was hard. That was I was telling that to some of the founders today, that because they had asked me the same question. I said, you know, still when I go in that house today, it's home. It's just the feeling, just the atmosphere, just the tone of it. It's
still when I go in that house today, it's home. Still the atmosphere. Now we know as fans, she didn't like living in Graceland. It was a prison. She was groomed and controlled. She couldn't find herself. She needed to find herself. Come on, guys. Think about it. Yeah? She's talking about, oh, Graceland. It was so wonderful. It was home. Look at these beautiful, look at that beautiful image. Look at that. Yeah? Guys, she didn't want to live in that house. She made ELVIS buy other homes. She wanted to be in LA, California. She was uncomfortable at Graceland. But oh, it still feels like home, and I still get the same atmosphere, and we go back there and we just remember how happy we were. She wasn't happy. In 1968, 3 months after Lisa Marie was born, 10 months after they got married, she was seeing Steve Peck, the dance instructor. They hadn't even been married a year. Yeah? This is, oh my God, the atmosphere. Yeah? They probably weren't even living at Graceland when she had that affair. Yeah? My guess is that they weren't. Think about it, guys. Then you've got the Mike Stone affair with the karate instructor, all that went on there. Oh, Graceland, I miss it so much. ELVIS is the love of my life. Such special, happy times. Guys, he got engaged to her in December 1966. Then he married her. 1967, 1st of July, the date's gone. 1st of July 1967. By 68, March, she's with another guy. Yeah? And then by 1971, she was having a year-long secret affair with Mike Stone, the dance instructor, who she eventually ran off with, taking Lisa Marie with her, who was married with a pregnant wife that had a small child.
It's like sacred. It's just so beautiful, but it's like.
Let's go back a bit.
I can see.
Let's go back to this. Let's go back to this sacred, beautiful time. Yeah. Come on, guys. If we're going to talk Turkey, let's talk Turkey.
Because I asked me the same question. I said, still when I go in that house today.
1 second, let me just turn the screen.
Just the feeling.
Right.
The atmosphere, just the tone of it. It's
right. We're gonna have to go this way.
It's just so beautiful, but it's like I can see.
Right. Remember what she's saying.
They had asked me the same question. I said, still when I go in that house today, it's home. It's just the feeling, just the atmosphere, just the tone of it. It's like sacred. It's just so beautiful, but it's like I can see Elvis at the dining room table and the guys. I can see over to the right when I walk in the piano and him sitting there playing the piano, and I'm sitting on the couch across from the piano, listening to him sing gospel. And I can visualize everything as if it was happening right then every time I go in. I can see him coming down the stairs. I can see him looking to see who's down the stairs or listening, who's in the kitchen before he came down the stairs. Every visual I see when I walk in that door.
Well, and Graceland has maintained some of it for everyone. People.
Hang on, let me just before we let Jack Sodden talk, because I don't think even Jack Sodden's falling for her bullshit. Oh, I can envisage how beautiful and lovely and amazing it was. No, you got married. Within 9 months later, you had Lisa Marie. You must have been unhappy because within months of being married and having a baby, you were having an affair with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, the guy who owned the dance studio. So what are you on about? All these beautiful times. Yes, it was so great. Everything was lovely, so special. Jack Sodden is sat there. He's just an old guy, isn't he? He's a bit just in awe of Priscilla. It looks to me like he's a bit in love with her. He's a bit in awe with Priscilla, isn't he? Yeah, yeah. He's just sat there like that. whatever you say, whatever you say. Now, he knows that they had a very bitter, horrible divorce. Their divorce was horrible. Yeah. It went on for a long time. Because don't forget, things went wrong in 68 around March. Elvis knew that his wife had betrayed him with the dance instructor just after the baby was born. Remember, the wedding went round the world. We all watched it. Many of you guys watched the beautiful footage of the wedding and of the birth of the baby. We've all seen the footage of Elvis on the steps. Is it the Memorial Hospital holding the baby? It all went round the world. We all saw it happen, wedding and birth. But within months of those pictures being took on the steps of the hospital, the beautiful Lisa Marie, she's in bed with another guy. She's in bed with another bloke, guys. And then within a couple of years of that, she has a year-long secret affair with Mike Stone. So what is all this so-called beautiful, perfect romance? Whilst Elvis was off taking her on holidays and wining and dining her and giving her this life of luxury, she's banging away with two different blokes. Come on, guys. She paints a beautiful picture. She thinks the public are stupid. She thinks that we buy into the fairy tale, the fake fairy tale that's in this book. This book is fake. Elvis and Me, a fake book. Everything in this book, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes, is not true. She thinks we're buying into it. Jack Sodden, he just sat there thinking, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. My pockets are full of money. Jack Sodden, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. My pockets are full of money. Jack Sodden made a fortune from being involved with the opening of Graceland, the Living Museum, being in bed, not literally, with Priscilla financially. Listen to the way she portrays how beautiful it was.
The fact that we've saved Graceland, we have tourists coming in, we have people coming in, and it's for a good cause. And it was all about saving Graceland and keeping it home, keeping it with Elvis, the family. And that was hard. That was I was telling that to some of the founders today, that because they had asked me the same question. I said, you know, still when I go in that house today, it's home.
Here we go.
Just the feeling, just the atmosphere,
acting
just the tone
lessons.
of it. It's like sacred. It's just so beautiful, but it's like I can see Elvis at the dining room table and the guys. I can see over to the right when I walk in the piano and him sitting there playing the piano, and I'm sitting on the couch across from the piano, you know, listening to him sing gospel. And I can visualize everything as if it was happening right then every time I go in. I can see him coming down the stairs. I can see him looking to see who's down the stairs or listening, who's in the kitchen before he came down the stairs. Every visual I see when I walk in that door.
Well, and Graceland has maintained some of it for everyone. That people every day comment about how they feel like Elvis is just away and it could come back anytime. And it's just this authenticity that house has, that you and Angie and all the people involved in maintaining it. But there's something that's still just so authentic about Graceland.
It is authentic, and people who come in feel that. There's a reverence that people have. You know, when they come in, they automatically, I believe, know, you know, that it's a home in his home. And I that was one fear. I thought, oh no, the carpets are going to be all dirty because they're white, or someone's going to take something, or, you know, there were all of these thoughts in my mind of, you know, will it ever be the same or feel the same? And I think the guests that come into that house, the friends that are there, and the tourists that come in, there's a reverence.
Well, yes. What a beautiful picture.
Hello, everyone. This is Presley, and I want to thank you fans very much for your love and dedication for Elvis Presley and for Graceland. I enjoy very much meeting you and talking to you and hearing about your stories about your love of Elvis. So keep coming, keep visiting, and we're here waiting. Bye-bye.
Right, guys. So I'm going to jump over to something different. Now, you know, we've been doing this lady that reads the tarot cards. It's a bit, we've played a couple of her videos, and she's released another one. Let me just find her. I keep forgetting her name, guys. But let's have a look. I've got it on my history somewhere. Here we go.
I just made a.
So, guys, I just want to introduce her. Now, she doesn't even really know that we're doing this, but we have been promoting her YouTube channel. When we started, she was on 174 subscribers. She's now up to 325 subscribers. It's a bit unusual. She's a medium, a tarot card reader. But the reason I like this woman. Now, just get let's see the name. Angie's Tea and Tarot. Angie's Tea and Tarot. I'm going to type it into here so you guys can pop over and subscribe to her. I want to thank her. She's allowed us to use her great words because this woman really knows what she's talking about. Now, the reason I like the way that this lady puts across her views on Elvis and on Lisa Marie and on Riley Keough, is that she just gets it so right. She gets it so right, guys. Now, I'm going to press play. We're going to watch it from the start. It's funny because at the beginning of it, she says, "Oh, I can't believe just how well my channel's doing." And it's because of you guys. Team Elvis, you guys have all been jumping over on defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. And subscribing to this lady. Yeah. So let's listen to it. Now, have an open mind. She's done 2 other videos that talk in depth about Lisa Marie, about Elvis. She definitely is an Elvis defender. Definitely. Now let's just listen, guys.
Good morning, it's Angie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all of the new subscribers. My channel is exponentially growing, and thanks to Elvis Presley's comments. Well, perhaps the comments, I don't know. But this is really the reason why I'm going to be talking more about Elvis Presley and the memoir of Lisa Marie. So I never thought, I know sometimes I don't finish my sentences, but I never thought that it would have been that memoir there, Lisa Marie's memoir, that would turn the wheel of my channel and raise my subscribers overnight. I won't have memberships. I won't do that. What I'm doing is I'm paying it forward because I've said this so many times. Elvis Presley was profound in my healing from narcissistic abuse. So let's get right onto it because now I'm gonna talk about a little bit about. I don't want to get lost in translation here, but I do wake up to lyrics. Okay, so this one was Cyndi Lauper lyric, and it was I drove all night to get to you. Now,
oh, thank you, lady.
I believe Lisa Marie Presley was a medium.
Lady of the Lake brought me a coffee. Thank you very much. Love it. Thank you.
Psychic, but not all psychics are medium. So mediums or are a medium. A medium is where you get, you can connect to people that have I look up there, people that have passed over, okay? That's my belief because I read parts of her book, and I believe she also was, well, like I've said, mediums, all mediums are psychic. Now, am I going to talk about, so to me, when she suffered the ectopic pregnancy, that was a profound guilt on her, even though I think it was going to naturally end that baby's life. That was a natural life, but she was determined to make up for it. Okay. Now, I just have to say, I'm going to talk a lot here, so bear with me, because these comments, I fired one back because I said to this particular lady,
Thank you,
you
Jane.
are exactly the reason
Very kind
why
of you, Jane.
I'm doing this. Okay, because just the fact that those comments tell me that there is a lot of people out there that either, well, in this particular case, are narcissists, are the aging narcissist, also known as Priscilla Presley. Now, I've said something, I know you're kind. I know this kind because I survived narcissistic abuse. Lisa Marie was a victim of narcissistic abuse. Now, I'm going to probably confuse a lot of people, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about how I know she is psychic, okay? Because what happens to a child is when she would have suffered that intense loss at that young age, and even before, this could have been before, because what happens with a child, I'm going to just pick that particular time when she was 9 years old, is the child has to gauge, she had such a secure relationship with her father. ELVIS. That was locked, stock, and barrel. That was a tight bond that could never be broken. She did not have the same relationship with her mother. Okay, she didn't. So what had happened, this is all my opinion, and then I know this because this is how I know that I've had psychic ability since I was 4.5 years old when my father died. Now, the child can't gauge what is going on, right? The child is looking, constantly looking. So she's not receiving any verbal confirmation of anything, of what's going on, or from that moment on in her life. So she's having to use her instincts, okay? We all have instincts, but hers are much more, and mine were much more, she was using them much more because it became survival for her. Okay. So when a child is put in the survival mode, like I was and like Lisa was, you're using much more of your senses. Okay. So you're developing your senses at a very, very young age, at a rapid age, because it's all done to protect her. Okay. Everything is done. Your intuition is there to protect you. Okay. So you're gauging how people look at you, but you're not really comprehending that. Okay. But what she's doing is she's developing it. And then as she's aging, she's locking into it. She can feel Elvis Presley because everything is done through feelings. Okay. That's your clairsentience. She had clairsentience because she can feel things. She had claircognizance. That's the knowing things. She had clairvoyance. Okay. Clairvoyance. Well, I think I had clairvoyance. I don't know if she saw things, but clairvoyance is the seeing things. She had clairaudience. She sensed that her father was going to die. Is the hearing things. That is one of the most strongest, I think, well, for me and for Lisa, because she makes it known in her book as well that she heard her son, and she's also paying attention to the coincidence. When she went to Hawaii, she heard her son say something. You literally hear this, okay? Some people hear longer conversations, some people hear words, but she heard that, and she went to Hawaii on the date or the anniversary of her son's birthday. So Lisa Marie was highly, highly clairvoyant, I'm hearing, and knew. So why I say clairvoyant, she could see things. Okay, that would be claircognizance. But anyways, so now, I hear questions, so I just have to just give that a second. Now, so I'm gonna talk about See, I kind of got a little bit because I had a question coming in from somebody here. Okay, so when I look at the contents or the comments, I'm going to leave my comments up because it is the majority of them. I think the majority of them, well, I'm just going to say this right now. It doesn't matter how many of them, but the ones that are out there that are challenging her memoir now are basically saying that her memoir is basically lies. Okay. I say to myself, do you think this was written in like by the National Enquirer? Okay. But then somebody could come and say, well, how do you know Priscilla Presley? How do you know Priscilla's book is not the truth? Okay, because I'm going to just say that I have to say that I see this sign, do not sniffle. So that's for me to remind me not to sniffle because I don't like a lot of sounds. Okay, now because of I can just pick up on the body language of that Piers Morgan where she went. That's the Pinocchio. Okay, she did the Pinocchio. And I'm just saying, I keep saying, this is verbatim. I took her words literally that she said, I'm going to take you to see Daddy. Well, she said, we're going to go to Graceland. I'm going to take you to see Daddy. It's going to look like he's sleeping. I'm not saying it verbatim. Most likely a little bit there. And then, but she was already in Graceland. Okay, so we can talk about this all day long, but I'd rather just get a card out there because this is.
So we get the fit.
Because I know there are a lot of people that are suffering.
So don't forget, I know that medium and tarot isn't for everyone, but I think she just gets a real good sense of Lisa Marie, and I do think because Lisa Marie did say that she was always worried that Elvis was going to die, that her daddy was going to die. Oh, it's upsetting thinking about it. But and that she had a feeling, yeah, that something was wrong. In fact, even Riley Keough, when she found out that her mum may die when she was being rushed, Riley Keough says she knew that it was the end. She knew it was the end. So I just like the way that this woman is in tune with everything when it comes to Priscilla and Elvis and Lisa Marie. She gets it. And whether you're into medium or tarots is irrelevant to me. This woman just has a sense. And if you go back and watch her other two videos that are mainly on Lisa Marie and Priscilla, you will be surprised just how intuitive this lady is. I'll play a little bit more and then we'll move on.
Narcissistic abuse and are being gaslit. Okay, I'm not the one that wrote her book. Okay, I'm not the one. I'm just detailing what she wrote. Okay, I feel sorry for people that are on this planet that are with these people. Okay, because there are people on my channel that somebody, I was going to tell you this, if you decided to walk away, keep away from a narcissist. Unfortunately, Lisa could not. Okay. Now, before I get into that card, I'm going to give you my opinion about why why Priscilla Presley did the movie, because what a narcissist does is, in many instances, I'm not going to get too technical here, but a narcissist will imitate someone, okay? And it's all done because of the jealousy and the envy, okay?
Here goes, guys.
And so Priscilla Presley enjoyed wearing the crown of victimhood, of victim.
Big time.
The same crown that my mother wore after my father died. Now I'm the widow of Elvis Presley. Like I said, she's the bride at every funeral. She's gaining attention from that and has actually worn that crown. Well, my mom wore that crown right until the day she died. Now, but we're not talking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift away from my personal opinion. I'm going to move my channel away from give about me, okay? But I do believe that teaching people about narcissism is the best way by giving examples. But I'm going to focus more on Elvis Presley here because I do have to pay it forward. Now, so the imitation. So he came out with the biopic, or they came out with the biopic. So he's still getting, he is the one entertainer on this planet that will, it was a profound loss for everybody, that will continue to gain more stardom as he, even though he's not here, because it's way over 50 years, I think. Yeah, 1977. Well, maybe not that long, 7. Anyways, I was 11 years old. I know exactly where I was when Elvis Presley died. I know the time. I know who I was with, and I was with that particular grandmother.
We all do, guys. We all do.
This is so much fun. Let's talk about the comment, or the I know I'm getting sidetracked here, but I wanted to say this as well, because in her book, the old cameo, I think she had lipstick. She had something to do with the cameo, a lipstick, and something else that disappeared, right? That she couldn't find. She looks down in Priscilla Boileau's mother, which is her grandmother, in the purse, and sees her stuff there, right? Why is my stuff? Why did you take my stuff, and why is my stuff in your purse? Now we have a thief, okay? So now we have a thief. So that is a thief. Your grandmother takes something from you and doesn't tell you, doesn't ask you. That's a thief no matter what you are. So we're going to call her Priscilla Boileau from now on. She's not a Presley. She divorced the man. So now what was I talking about? The imitation. Okay, so we know they did the movie about Elvis. He's still up here. She wants to get up there, but she can't. Okay, she'll never be there, but she's probably, he's gold. She's trying to gain that. She's trying to be on that podium all the time. Now, so out comes, I never watched that, the Priscilla, I guess you could call it a biopic by Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, Sophia, I think that's her name. I don't know. And I don't know if there probably will be more coming out here, because she most likely, I don't understand the people that do more than one memoir. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, I just never imagined in a million years that all of this pushback from Lisa Marie Presley's memoir. I just it just feels to me it's just a lot of controversy there, but I do enjoy talking about Elvis Presley, absolutely. So we'll see. So that's a little bit of what I want to say. So you can turn the video off now if you want.
Okay, guys. Well, you get a feel for this lady, so please jump over and subscribe to her. I'm going to keep, as she is doing the topic of Lisa and Elvis and Priscilla. She loves using the word narcissist. As you do, guys. Angie's Tea and Tarot. Angie's Tea and Tarot. Thank you so much for letting us use your brilliant YouTube channel. It looks to me quite a new YouTube channel. Now, I found...
Could it be possible that the king of rock and roll is still alive?
Let's see if I can find it again. I found a really good... interview on Celebify. I was going to play it yesterday. Let's just have a look.
Enrich the musical landscape of their time.
Let's have a look. Let's see if I can find it. I might not be able to find it, but I liked this one because it... here we are. It's called... Right, just so you know, I liked it. If I'm going to use...
Imagine for a moment.
If I'm going to use someone else's stuff, I like to promote them. It's Celebify. I liked this. It is about 15 minutes long. Now, I want you to, this is who they are, Celebify. Can you see that? Celebify. And I liked it because I just thought that the way that he broke it down, and I have messaged him and said, look, I'm going to review your video. So let's play it for a bit. If I think it's not right, if I'm not feeling it, I'll stop it and play something else. But let's just give it a go, guys. You lot are chatting between yourselves, which is great. You guys are getting to know each other. Thank you for the super thank yous. Thank you for the coffee you've sent me. I really appreciate it. Now, please subscribe, guys.
Is only a fraction of the truth. A polished surface that conceals an even darker reality. What if her childhood held secrets so shocking, so painful, that they could forever change the way we view the Presley family? Today we delve into the harrowing details laid bare by Lisa Marie herself as her memoir pulls back the curtain on an unsettling chapter in her life. Stay tuned as we unravel this shocking narrative that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about Lisa Marie and her famous mother. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more incredible stories about the king of rock and roll and his family. 6. Setting the stage. Lisa Marie Presley's memoir is more than just a glimpse into the life of rock and roll royalty. It's a raw, unfiltered account that peels back the layers of glamour to reveal a much darker story. This isn't the Lisa Marie that the world saw on stage or in interviews. Instead, it's a Lisa Marie who endured a turbulent childhood that shaped her in ways most people could never imagine. Her memoir doesn't shy away from the gritty, uncomfortable truths. It boldly exposes moments that would make any reader pause, as she recounts her struggle to reconcile her love for her mother with the painful reality of what she experienced behind closed doors. Through her words, we glimpse the emotional scars that only she could bear, and each page reveals a piece of the trauma that's long been hidden from public view. Central to these revelations are the disturbing accounts involving her stepfather, Michael Edwards. In the memoir, Lisa Marie pulls no punches as she describes the man who played a significant role in her life during her formative years. But perhaps what's even more shocking is the role her mother, Priscilla Presley, allegedly played. For years, fans saw Priscilla as the doting mother who carried on Elvis's legacy with grace and poise. Yet Lisa Marie's words paint a very different picture. She portrays a mother who, instead of protecting her daughter, may have turned a blind eye, or worse, allowed a predator to stay close. These accusations are damning, raising questions that cast a long shadow over the Presley legacy, especially when it comes to Priscilla's choices, the consequences they had for her young daughter. Just as readers think they've grasped the extent of Lisa Marie's suffering, she takes us deeper into her memories, recounting more chilling episodes that involve both Edwards and Priscilla. What could drive a mother to allegedly make such choices? And how did this impact Lisa Marie's own sense of trust and security? In the next section, we'll delve into a pivotal moment from her childhood that serves as a haunting reminder of how vulnerable she truly was, and how, despite everything, she tried to shield herself from the emotional chaos around her. 5. Lisa's life at home. Lisa Marie Presley's childhood home was far from the safe haven it should have been. Instead, it was a place filled with tension, confusion, and a
just quickly comment on that bit. So remember, we're reviewing it a bit. So far from the safe haven it should have been. And this, everyone's pointing the finger at Michael Edwards and these horrible allegations. We have to say they're alleged. We have to cover our backs. Of course, we, the fans, believe every word of this book from here to the great unknown. We completely believe it, and we think we need justice for Lisa Marie. We know that the fans, expect Riley and the family to defend Lisa Marie's honor and dignity and to fight these accusations using the authorities, the police, whatever methods needed to right the wrongs, because Lisa Marie wouldn't have put it in this book unless she wanted it out there. Riley wouldn't have put it in the book and kept it in the book and released it around the world and promoted the book unless she didn't also want justice for her mother. Yeah, that's why she's going around the world promoting it. The book is doing all the talking. So this part of this section of this video is basically saying Priscilla should have kept Lisa safe. This is why Priscilla is just as guilty as Michael Edwards. Yeah, these alleged things. Priscilla is just as guilty because she was the mother. She should have protected her, kept her safe, and she didn't. And it's also come out that Priscilla knew about it. She was aware of it, and that Lisa tried to tell her many times. And Priscilla tried to turn a blind eye to it because she was scared of losing Michael Edwards. She even thought Lisa was lying, that Lisa may have deserved it, may have asked for it. You get it, guys? Priscilla has some very, very serious questions to answer. I'm not trying to create hate. Well, this isn't hate. This is justice for Lisa Marie, and we are defending the family against these disgusting accusations that may have happened. So I'm not just out for Michael Edwards so that the authorities sort him out of these alleged crimes. I'm out for Priscilla. I want her questioned about how she parented Lisa Marie through those years once she left with other men and took Lisa Marie with her, when she pursued her career, her ambitions, her need for fame and money, her thirst for fame, money, attention, glamour, spotlight, at the cost of Lisa Marie. The cost. Lisa Marie was the victim, living through these horrific times, these very, very dark times, not just in Scientology, in her own personal life as well. And people are asking the questions, why did she turn to drugs, to drink, chasing after boys? Why was she so rebellious? Why was she such an angry child? Well, we're finding out why, aren't we? With these allegations, with this terrible parenting from Priscilla. Let's keep going, guys.
One sense of dread that permeated her everyday life. In her memoir, Lisa Marie recounts how the presence of her stepfather, Michael Edwards, became a source of constant unease. Although he was supposed to be a parental figure, the role he played was anything but comforting. He brought a darkness into her life that she was too young to fully understand, yet old enough to feel its suffocating weight. Behind the walls of their home, Lisa Marie witnessed behaviors that were far from normal, often catching glimpses of Edward's volatile temper and unsettling actions that made her feel like a prisoner in her own home. The emotional toll on young Lisa Marie was profound. She describes feeling trapped in a cycle of fear, unable to escape the disturbing dynamics that unfolded day after day. Even as a child, she sensed that Edward's actions crossed boundaries, yet she felt powerless to stop him. Her own mother, Priscilla, whom she should have been able to trust implicitly, seemed oblivious, or worse, indifferent, to the mounting distress her daughter was enduring. The silence was deafening. Priscilla's lack of intervention left Lisa Marie feeling isolated and betrayed, fostering a resentment that would linger for years. The very person who was supposed to protect her seemed to be either turning a blind eye or, shockingly, enabling the behavior that was causing her so much harm. And yet, as disturbing as this is, Lisa Marie's account hints at even more sinister details lurking beneath the surface. She refrains from revealing everything at once, instead building a slow-burning tension that leaves readers with more questions than answers. What was it about Edwards that captivated Priscilla enough for her to allegedly overlook the well-being of her own daughter? As we move forward, Lisa Marie sheds light on a specific night that encapsulates the darkness she lived through. A night that, once described, leaves no room for doubt about the emotional and psychological scars she would carry. Stay tuned as we uncover this pivotal moment, where Lisa Marie's childhood innocence collided head-on with a reality too harsh for any young girl to face. 4. The first red flag. One evening, what should have been a simple family dinner turned into a harrowing memory that would haunt Lisa Marie for years to come. She recounts a moment when her stepfather, Michael Edwards, erupted with an anger so intense it left her paralyzed with fear. In a fit of rage, he hurled his plate across the room, shattering the illusion of normalcy in their household. Lisa Marie's mind raced as she tried to make sense of the sudden violence. But what frightened her even more was her mother's reaction. Rather than stepping in to protect her daughter or confront Edwards, Priscilla seemed to let it slide, as though this kind of behavior was somehow acceptable. The silence that followed was deafening, leaving young Lisa Marie with an unsettling feeling that something was very wrong. Yet as unsettling as that dinner had been, It was what happened later that night that truly marked a turning point in Lisa Marie's understanding of her stepfather's character. While the broken plate could have been dismissed as a one-time loss of control, the events that unfolded behind closed doors hinted at a much deeper, more disturbing pattern of behavior. Lisa Marie describes how Edwards would find his way to her room under the guise of parental concern, yet his actions betrayed anything but fatherly affection. It was during these private encounters that Lisa Marie began to fully grasp the danger she was in. She knew instinctively that Edwards had crossed a line, yet she felt trapped with nowhere to turn and no one to trust. The realization was devastating, but perhaps what cut the deepest was the absence of her mother's support. Lisa Marie paints a haunting picture of a child who longed for her mother's protection, only to be met with indifference. Instead of confronting Edwards or removing him from their lives, Priscilla seemed to stand by, watching as her daughter's sense of security was shattered. But this was only the beginning. As Lisa Marie's story unfolds, she reveals that this first red flag was merely a hint of the nightmare that lay ahead. What more could this young girl endure? And how far would Edwards go before someone stepped in? As we dive deeper, we'll uncover another night, even darker than this one, that would leave an indelible mark on Lisa Marie's soul and forever change the way she viewed her mother. The midway shocking twist. As Lisa Marie matured, the troubling behaviors of her stepfather only grew more complex and sinister, weaving a web of manipulation that ensnared her at every turn. In her memoir, she shares glimpses of these encounters, revealing a man who seemed to wield control over her in ways that went beyond the physical. Each new recollection paints a picture of a predator who carefully calculated his actions, choosing moments when he knew Lisa would be most vulnerable and when her mother, Priscilla, would be just out of reach. What's particularly chilling is the gradual realization that these weren't isolated incidents. This pattern of manipulation was a constant shadow in her life, stretching across years. Edwards wasn't just a stepfather, he became a dark presence that lingered in her memories, each encounter reinforcing the sense that something truly vile was unfolding. But perhaps the most heart-wrenching revelation in Lisa Marie's account is the fact that Priscilla, the one person who should have been her fiercest protector, was not blind to what was happening. According to Lisa, her mother's awareness went beyond mere suspicion. Priscilla allegedly knew. There were moments when Edward's actions were so overt that they could not be brushed aside. Yet Lisa recalls how her mother seemed to turn away, either unwilling or unable to confront the grim reality of what was taking place in their home. This knowledge weighed heavily on Lisa Marie, compounding the betrayal she felt as she navigated the nightmare alone. The sense of abandonment was profound, adding layers to the trauma that would follow her for years to come. Lisa's words drip with the anguish of someone who endured far more than most could ever imagine. And yet she stopped short of detailing every instance, choosing instead to let the implications hang heavily in the air. The full extent of Edward's actions remains veiled, but the hints she provides are enough to convey the magnitude of her suffering. What other horrors did she experience, and what price did she pay for Priscilla's alleged silence? As we delve further into her story, we will uncover the depths of her despair and the shocking...
He says, what price did she pay? Well, we know the price, don't we, guys? Because it's all here in black and white. It literally wrecked her life. It wrecked her life. And then Priscilla went on to portray Lisa Marie as a difficult child that had got into drugs too young, got into alcohol too young, got into boys too young, was staying out too much too young. But why? We know why, don't we, guys? Because of these alleged allegations from Michael Edwards. The lack of, what's the word for Priscilla? She stayed out of it. She didn't believe her own daughter. She was too scared and infatuated with Mike Edwards because he was also violent. Yeah. So that's the answer. Right. I wanted to just do a little bit more of Serge Delmar, the Scientologist, this really great Scientology channel. We've got about 60% into his video. I wanted to play a bit more of that before I go to bed. So let's just make sure I got the right one. Right, here we go. This guy here, and again, I would promote him. Let's have a look.
I must really trust them because
I mean, he's such a funny guy, right? Serious but funny. Does that make sense? So we've got Elvis did not mince words, reference Scientology. It's Serge Delmar. Serge Delmar. Yeah. And I have got another video, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow because I think it's a bit late. I know that we get into detail about what Lisa Marie went through as a child and the neglect of Priscilla, the neglect, serious neglect, I would say criminal neglect, yeah, of Priscilla. Michael Edwards, that's a different story. He shouldn't even be, he shouldn't be a free man. He should be in jail, Michael Edwards. In my opinion, for entertainment purposes, alleged allegations, yeah. I think we have I don't really like talking about Scientology. It's not a topic that I enjoy. But since the book From Here to the Great Unknown, it has spiked my interest. It has. I've started to think the things that go through my mind now are, knowing what we know, yeah, that obviously what went on with Michael Edwards, the fact that Priscilla ran off with Mike Stone, yeah, so very, very young, Lisa Marie had to watch her mother move out of the home. I'm not sure which home they were in when they had the divorce. Taking Lisa with her. What Lisa had to watch her heartbroken father, Elvis, because Elvis was, that's the other thing that's come out in this book, is how close Lisa and Elvis were. This close bond. Elvis really opened up to Lisa in a way that he's never done before, except for with Gladys. So it makes me go, right, okay. So she left. She took Lisa with her. She was with Mike Stone for a while. She had other boyfriends. Is it Robert Kardashian? Eventually, she gets to Michael Edwards. Now, within all that mix, we've got Scientology. She makes this decision. She wants more free time. She wants to pursue her career. She wants to travel. She wants the spotlight. She wants to follow her boyfriends. Scientology suddenly becomes a massive thing. John Travolta's involvement. It seems to me that John Travolta introduced quite a few celebrities to Scientology. It seems to me like Lisa Marie was a good catch for Scientology. A good catch. Scientology loved celebrity status. They loved it. More money. It made them more credible. I think John Travolta has questions to answer because he encouraged Lisa to join. Why did Priscilla want to join? Why does Priscilla? Did she want to join the celebrity club? Were all the other celebrities joining, becoming Scientologists in this so-called religion, this so-called cult? The celebrities of the time like Kirstie Alley and other well-known ones like Tom Cruise. Scientology was the way to go, wasn't it? Especially at that period of time around the 80s. Yeah. So this gentleman, he gives us a bit of an insight into what Lisa Marie would have gone through, the effect that Scientology had on Priscilla. Now, from what this guy is saying, Priscilla was more of a, how can I say it, a figure, a large figure, a well-known sort of, how can I say the word? Because she was Elvis's wife. So she was slightly iconic. And I think the attraction was to get Lisa Marie, Elvis's only child, to join Scientology. This was a big deal. This is something that Scientology really wanted. Let's keep watch. We'll watch some of this, and I'm going to have to go, guys.
Asking me about my biggest, deepest, darkest secrets, and it's supposed to be
really in my best interest to really tell them everything. So these are the levels of manipulation that we are seeing, and this is what is being called out. I see that there's a lot of people here from the chat, you guys. I'm just going through it. If you had any questions on what we discussed, please put it in the chat with capital letters so I can see it quickly. Here we have from Laura Estrada, she needs to be called out, that poor little girl, because she really always seemed eternally sad. Exactly, Laura. And imagine that again, it's like all your sadness was weaponized against you by your Scientology parent. They told you, why are you so downtoned? Why are you so degraded, acting so useless? Like, that's sadism epitomized. What the Scientology parents got from L. Ron Hubbard is how to be full-blown sadists to their kids and call it trying to save a world. Because all the Scientologies would do is put on a show when they're not being watched inside of the hotels. When they're out in the open with the wogs, believe you me, they're very aware to make sure that no one perceives them as anything other than, oh, I really got it together. I'm really doing the best. And it's people like Lisa that reacted to the abuse with trauma responses, with normal trauma responses. I mean, Priscilla, if she was doing cocaine as young as she was, ask yourself the type of parent you were in the situation. It's amazing how Priscilla got temporary custody of the twins when they were little, given so much of the bad mother she was. I mean, again, you guys, the PR, smoke and mirrors that surrounds Priscilla is disgusting. I don't think that Riley is aware of the extent of her delusions, of her grandmother delusions, because again, Riley is a third generation Scientologist, just like me. When your grandparents were doing this, when your own parents were doing this, the third generation things, like there's no way we could be in some disgusting scheme. So the third generation is extremely vulnerable. When this has been pitched by your grandparent and your own parent, it's almost nearly impossible to think that your parents could have been that depraved, that out of their mind, that evil. Like there's just almost no room to really hold the fact of how far they took it. Was maybe Priscilla hoping that the handling, Rainbow 24, was maybe Priscilla hoping that the handling audit camps, etc., would erase the SA that and knew and was doing damage control? I mean, yes, Rainbow, good point, because that is what it was to get those audits. It was a damage control. And we were told as kids to forget about it. Like, your needle floated, we were told it's handled. We have a technology at the hotel where if you literally get this, it just gets handled. And you're supposed to have no more misemotions ever again. You're supposed to not think about it. You're supposed to erase it out of your universe. That's what we were told. Just erase it out of your universe. Come to present time. That was the past. Stop being an effect of your reactive mind. So all of that disassociating between kids and what was being done to them in real time, and then projecting back on them that they're deficient in humanity, deficient in normalcy, because their nervous system is still in shock, as any child of this level of abuse comes to. Something you cannot control, something you cannot just flip a switch about. But all of that really is taken severely out of context. Sassy Corners. Wait, can you explain why Priscilla would have anything to do with either Lisa's first marriage? Because Lisa said in her book, Priscilla wanted to break them up. This guy here, Danny Keough, his whole family was in the president's office and was high-ranking in Scientology, you guys. So Priscilla dumped Lisa there at 2 a.m., like we just heard, and said, handle her. And then all of a sudden, what happened with Lisa? As she already told in the book, she got first knocked up and convinced somehow to get you know what, that was a big regret that she expresses, traumatic experience that she expresses. And then she gets, you know, as it is explained in the book, she manages to get knocked up by him. And she thought, oh, maybe if I marry him, I'll have a normal life, which is all that she was looking to have.
Oh, so sad.
She wanted to get rid of the circus. She wanted to get rid of the weirdness. She wanted to get, little did she know. And again, all these kids that are so gullible, naive, and susceptible to the amount of schemes that not only the Scientology parents were up to, the handlers at the Scientology hotels were also up to. Priscilla left her there and said, then Lisa was sent to the free winds to another one of these commercial buildings, floating cathedrals is what the lawyers of Scientology call the literal cruise ship, where Lisa then does go and then does get pregnant and then does have Riley. And those were her best moments. She was at least able to be a mother, and she was not like Priscilla. She was not forcing Scientology on Riley. Riley was exposed to it, but never to the degree that Lisa was exposed to it. Riley did not go up the bridge and do all the disgusting shit. Like, they definitely sunk their fangs on her, but not to the degree that Priscilla was forcing Lisa to do it. Lisa tried to use Scientology a little bit, but she was always kind of skeptical, and she wasn't ever fully into it. And that's what also got all the people in Scientology so mad at her. Because in Scientology, you have to be fully into it. If you're not into it, if you have a single critical thought, you are told that there's something really wrong and disgusting with you. So
sad.
So Danny is still heavy in Scientology. Is Riley? I mean, that's the problem with all of these family lineages getting so enmeshed, you guys. It's very hard. Again, I done it. I cut off my sisters. I cut off my parents. I cut off anyone that had to do with Scientology. I cut out of my life. It's not easy for people to do that. So many of us that have had to come forward, figuring it out in therapy that it was disgusting, sadistic abuse, and that none of us were having a religious experience, have to cut out the people that will tell us, what are you complaining about? There's something wrong with you. You're the problem. You're the issue. You're the one that is not trying to save a world like the rest of us. And that is the biggest reason that these people continue getting ensnared and stuck.
He waits for the questions to come, doesn't he? Imagine the pain this guy's gone through.
What was Priscilla doing when she shipped Lisa off to deal with her trauma? Lisa Marie saw Elvis dead. She needed trauma therapy instead Scientology. I'm actually really disgusted. Well, again, Laura, the problem started with the fact that Lisa had already a very unstable, tumultuous childhood from her dad dealing with so many issues, and and her mother pretending she had it all together and she had no issues. But we beg to differ, Priscilla. You had severe issues that you were camouflaging by purporting that John Travolta, who really saw a lot in you, a lot of potential money signs, because don't forget, you guys, whoever brings you to the hotel in Scientology, like John Travolta, was looking for a 10% commission. So for all of this, John Travolta really wanted to help the Presleys. He wanted to get the 10% FSM commission, which is what these people get paid. Anytime Lisa could pay for a course, anytime Lisa could pay for an audit, anytime any money was exchanged, the person that brought them in would be made their FSM. So John Travolta, with all the money, with all the fame, with all the resources he had, it was just never enough. And they would get a lot of brownie points, very special points. Oh, look at John Travolta just brought us a big, famous fish. Let's give him a lot of special treatment. Let's treat him really nice. Oh my God, John Travolta, so upset you are. And that's what's also really unthinkable. So not only does she have to deal with the death of her father, now we know by the time she became so young, I believe it's 8, 9, 10, 12, 11, she was having to deal with the monster or the alleged monster that Priscilla was all about dating and leaving her daughter with. So what was she doing would be a great question to ask Priscilla. Since she had no career of her own, she had nothing that she ever actually do. Where are your products, Priscilla? Where is your work other than meandering and figuring out how to leverage your situation to help yourself? It's sick.
Sure is. Okay, guys, I'm starting to fall asleep now, but I'm starting to like, I'm going to fall asleep now. But he's a very smart guy. I love his YouTube channel. He's got it completely right. And the reason he's got it right is because he's gone through it. He went through it. Yeah. Scientology damaged him seriously. He's managed to get away from it. I don't know his whole story, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty scary. The horrible thing for us as fans of Elvis and Lisa Marie fans is that we know that poor Lisa Marie went through it all. I personally think Lisa Marie was brainwashed. And I know that we like Danny. I think it was Mary that said that Danny seems like a nice guy, because we know that Danny was there for Lisa and moved in with her after Benjamin passed, God rest his soul. But you can't ignore Danny's heritage, that his grandparents were Scientologists, that he was introduced to Lisa through Scientology. You can't ignore that Lisa, by the sounds of it, got married at 19 years old to Danny, and it was a Scientology wedding. Yeah, I heard there was only 8 people present. So as much as Danny seems like a good guy, and obviously he seems to have a brilliant relationship with Riley, his daughter, you know, he's lost Benjamin as well, hasn't he? Danny does seem to me like he might have come through it, and he's on the other side of things now. Maybe he's distancing himself from Scientology. But back then, yeah, in the 80s, I don't know how, you know, what year it was they got married, the 90s it could have been. There's questions to ask. There's questions to ask about why Danny and Lisa got together. And, you know, some of you may not like me saying that, but there are. And if Priscilla was brainwashed, yeah, in Scientology, because eventually she came to love Scientology. She had a lot of success in Scientology, didn't she? There was some long periods where Scientology was for her. I've seen interviews where she said that Scientology saved her, yeah, through some very bad patches. Yeah. So it's a complicated thing. I think we all together need to learn more about Scientology and the effect it had on Lisa Marie. Why Priscilla chose Scientology. Priscilla was obviously hell-bent on becoming part of Scientology decades and decades ago. And I think it's probably still very entwined in Scientology, isn't she, Priscilla? Probably. Yeah? Anyway, guys, I have to go to sleep. I'm knackered. I'll come back in the morning with a new topic, a new fresh topic. Who knows what we're going to talk about tomorrow morning? Let's see what I dream about. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had some mainly footage, a lot less of me talking, much more of us together watching these videos. Very, very interesting videos. I hope you've enjoyed them. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed them. I found them fascinating. I'm like, it's really interesting to me, learning all these, because we are learning together, aren't we, guys? We're learning as we go together. Team Elvis, taking care of business. So thanks, guys. If you've enjoyed what I do, get us a coffee, hit a super thank you, become a member, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take it easy, guys. We're out of here before my wife comes and tells me off. Yeah. Take care, guys. All the best. God bless you. God bless.